Hello. Feliz martes. Up before everybody else in my neighborhood as usual. Well, I don't know that for sure, I guess. Huh? Everybody could be up for all I know. Maybe they're just going to bed. Maybe they were a bunch of vampires. I know the feeling. What do you think I'm drawing? What does it look like? What does it look like to you? What do you think? I leave it up to my viewers. My viewers are intelligent, creative people. Some people see boobs. Some people see the devil. I see everything in between. But it's like, I don't really draw it, dude. It's like, it draws me. So what am I then? Like, what? Oh, okay. Let me see. Let me look at it from higher up. Like a dog. I think I understand what you're saying. I don't know why, but I do. Because all the teeth and stuff, and like there's like a snout. Maybe a snout. I see it as like this is like an eyebrow ridge. Like an eyebrow. And then the eye, the cheek, the nostril. Where the mouth would be, the chin. And the neck would be down here. So this person is looking up this way, essentially. That's what it looks like to me right now. Doesn't mean that's what I'm drawing, I guess, you know? Plus, the head would go way back here, right? And come back under. So the ear, the other eye would be... for example. And then it'll just start becoming more and more of a face. But then I can also just keep drawing over here, you know? And it'll become something else. And then the face that I thought maybe was what I was going to originally go for is totally gone. But then you drop some acid and you look at it and it all comes back to life. All the faces pop out at you if you do psychedelics and look at my stuff. Believe me, trust me. It's like I don't look at my stuff. I don't even do that many psychedelics anymore, to be honest. I feel like I went too far a few last times. Plus, I don't like the idea of taking drugs or psychedelics casually. I would do it for a purpose from now on, like to go soul searching or something, you know? And that's the best place to do, or best way to do psychedelics and things like that. Small doses to see who you're like underneath all of those layers and layers and layers of conditioning that you have. So start small if you ever do it. You know, don't go out doing heroic doses right away. But you know, just do enough to feel it and test your limits, see what you're doing. And then dive in if you want. But be out in nature as much as possible. I love water, so I go next to water or the forest. Not Forrest Gump. It's important to remember there's a difference between the forest and Forrest Gump. I learned that the hard way. That was the best summer of my life, though. How many hours? Let me see. So far, it's only been 10 minutes. I'm just kidding. This one, I'm not sure. Maybe... It looks like I started it with a different pen. I was testing pens on this paper. And then I always go back to the Sharpie because it's the most consistent. Because I look at this stuff in here and it's like a nicer, more expensive pen. And I'm like, what? How is that better? People are always like, Sharpie's gross. Sharpie's acidic. It's like the xenomorph. If you cut it, the ink falls on the ground and cuts through the floor. If you're not careful, it'll cut your face too. Because I like to eat pens. So it really messes up your guts because of the acid. but I kind of like it. And I mean literal acid. There's like acid for blood inside these things. So if you cut them, you gotta be careful. If you cut them open, whew, let's just say you want to be outside. Okay, just safety first. Always wear goggles. And a scuba diving outfit, just for fun. Safety and fun go hand in hand. Kind of like peanut butter and jelly. So if you didn't know that, now you do. So, but quickly unlearn it because it's all false. Anywho, what were we talking about? Thank you. I put lotion on my hands. And that's why they look so nice. Thank you so much for that compliment. Wow. I mean, oh, the art, maybe. Yeah, no, the art. Yeah. Hey, we saw something on my nail. Yeah. I call it carcass lotion. Rendered from, well, carcasses of 1,000,000 dead human beings. It's made of people. It's made of people. Isn't everything these days, though? People made. Man made. And then when people can't explain it, it's a glitch in the Matrix, or it's the Lord working in mysterious ways. Who am I to say? I'm not here to tell others what to think. I'm here to learn what it is that's in my head that makes me think. To be honest, I know it makes others tick. I know it makes others click. And I know what makes others prick. So, I know that we're all in. I just fucked up. I just made a little mistake there. So I'm just gonna do this. Can't believe that. I rarely ever make mistakes. That's like the second time I've made a mistake this year. On my art, anyways. Yeah, I gotta polish these up today. There's really nothing like the smell of fresh lipstick on your fingernails. It's the best thing ever. I don't know, is that how you spell it? Are you sure that's how you spell what you're trying to say? Just curious. Just making sure before I say it. In my head I already said it, so yes, I think I can. Does that answer your question? Are we on the same boat? Are we on the same pontoon? What's the In Pontoon movie? Is it Platoon? That movie's fucked up. I'm gonna go to the ocean today. I'm gonna go to a little record store in Grover Beach. There's a dude named Patrick that owns it. He has a record label. It's called Phantom Records. Phantom Records, I think? Or Phantom Label Records or something like that. Out of Grover Beach, California. And I'm gonna go in there today and hang out with them, and he's gonna show me the shop, and I'm gonna bring some art down there, some shirts, and sell it in the shop. And some of my little 7 inches that me and another band made a long ass time ago in Boise, Idaho. And my stuff is gonna be for sale in a record shop, in a badass little actual vinyl record shop in Grover Beach. I met him like 2 days ago, and he's like the raddest dude. Very unassuming. Like when I first saw him, I was all dressed I had my makeup, dress on, and everything. And it was like a goth like night, and I wore this like black wig and everything, and I got into the area where I was, and nobody was even like. It's always the thing where I think people are just gonna be all like gothed out and stuff, and just like whatever. But I get there, and nobody's dressed up at all, and I'm like, what the fuck? Okay, so I stick out like a fucking sore thumb. Oh god, it was just kind of funny in that way. But then people like, I guess it's cool because then I guess it's easier to see me in a crowd. Not that I like that. I was raised by wolves and ninjas, my friends. I prefer to be seen and not heard, or not seen or heard at all. You'll never see me coming. From but I can say English. You saw something. Well, then what did you mean by you saw something on my nail? What, paint? I paint my nails, just so you know. And yes, I can say Vietnamese or Vietnam. Vietnam. I would love to go to Vietnam. That part of the world is very beautiful. It's a shame. It's a shame that war has to be a thing to where I can't even like just, I don't know, it just seems weird to me that I just can't be like, I want to go to Vietnam and then just get on a bus and go to Vietnam. Why can't I do that? I mean, there's an ocean. But why aren't there not underwater buses? Gosh darn it. They make underwater submersibles. Wait, underwater submersibles. Can I take an underwater submersible to Vietnam and hang out with you? I'll bring a Sharpie and I'll draw on your legs. Ew. Sorry. I got caught off guard by my emotions. I'm sorry. Americans are like that. We're all a bunch of bumbling fools. I speak for them all 400 million of us. I mean, there's only two parties. Why not just have one person speak for everybody, right? Make it easier. That'll be me. I'm them. I'm you. Let's us all of us get it done, and you know, let's turn this car around. Yeah? No? Right. Okay. Whatever. I think I'm alone out here. But try telling that to the people in my head. He's never alone. Who said? What the hell? Have you ever heard like Vietnamese, or like Cambodian rock from like the 60s and 70s? It's like some of the best rock and roll you've ever heard in your fucking life. Like, I think there's an album called Cambodian Rock or something like that, but I'm sorry if I'm not trying to be disrespectful. But I do love the world, and I love worldly people, and I love world music. But it's just, I can't remember exactly what it's called. I think that's what it's called, but I think there's a lot of Vietnamese artists in there as well. From like I want to say the late 60s and maybe the early 70s, but definitely the late 60s. And the stuff, it's just like garage rock, punk, beautiful, awesome music. It's the best stuff you've like never heard before. And it's crazy because I feel like it was stifled because of the war, and like maybe the governments or something like that too, like Vietnamese government after the war or something, cracked down on like artists and stuff maybe. I could be totally off base there, but that's what happens in most places after. But I know Vietnam is a lot different today than it was, 50 years ago or whatever, 40 years ago. Oh, I'm 40, Jesus, so that would have been 60 years ago or something. Jeez. Time is crazy. No, I'd rather not. Thank you, though. I appreciate the curiosity. You can look at any of my videos and see. You can go to my channel. I have hundreds of videos. You can see many, many different versions of my face. Believe me. I look like different people. So today, I just don't want to... Live videos are weird because people get weird because I look different. And I don't want to entice people to be mean. I'd rather them just come here to look at the art. Not make fun of the way I look. It's just strange how people do that. But I'd rather not even go there. I'd rather become friends with people than make them think that I'm trying to trigger them or something, or have an agenda. By the way, yep, it's about that time. It's Agenda 30. So please, everybody, get your notebooks out and turn to page 35 of your Story Grub manuals, and we will start the agenda talk here in about 30 seconds. All right? Clock's ticking. Yeah, we're good. How about you over here?
Yeah, we're good over here too.
Awesome. Let's do this. Okay, folks. Sorry. Today's agenda: nail polish. Oh, This stuff smells great. I mean, it's just... Hold on. You gotta get the cap off. Oh, shit. Oh my god. Oh, no, that's not where that goes. Hey, I've done this before. Hold on. Ow, I just stabbed myself. Shit, I'm bleeding. Ow. Okay, nail polish. First, you gotta get the cap off and stop the art from sliding. Oh my god. And... Oh. Okay, well, that's the agenda for the day. Learning how to get the cap off. Whew. Lo siento. Lo siento. Okay, let's draw. Now that we're all friends, let's move forward. By the way, Coca, I'm reading your messages in Arnold Schwarzenegger voice, just so you know. Show me face reveal. It just sounds kind of funny like that. It makes it more entertaining for me. And it makes my version of what you look like in my head a little more salty. Describe what you look like. Describe your face to me. Do you have eyeballs? Do you have eyeball sockets? Are you wearing socks? If so, if you are wearing socks, why? Or why not? Who knows? These are questions that everybody wants to know the answers to someday. Eventually. Because people are going to have questions. 1,000 years from now, and when people are reinvented by the machines, you know, like when we're like 3D copied and stuff, after like they wipe us out and then they recreate us in 3D machines, they're going to have questions and they're going to ask us again, like, why? Why socks? And we're going to say, socks? And then they're going to shoot us and kill us and eat us again. And then it'll start over in another 1,000 years. It's just, why not answer those questions now? Keep it real. I think these are the things that people need to know. Think about. They just need just sorry.
These are things that...
These are things. Things. Things have things. Things... Ew. There we go. Okay. My stomach just made a really loud noise. Yeah, it's coming along. This is my face, sweetie, by the way. This is the real me. This is nothing. This is just a bag of bones. I'm already dead and gone. I'm already ash and dust. This will live on for at least another 20 years after I'm gone. Before everything's engulfed in flames. But if you want to see the real face of me, you want to see my face, look at this. You know? Want to see my dreams, my fears, my fantasies? You look here. I am obsolete. I'm just the messenger. I don't matter. Art is everything. It's how I get to imitate life. And it's a blessing in disguise, you know? It's like having a secret that nobody else knows. When you're walking around, I just have this little like smirk on my face because I look at the world a lot differently than other people, I think. Everything looks like worms. It's only noodles, Michael. You can say. What does bonjour mean? Are you saying is that I'm sorry. I mean I've seen that for a minute, but I'm like, is that a greeting? Is that because it's like fuck, I can't even talk. Bonjour from French, and I know I'm saying that in a very American way, but or is it a place in Vietnam or something? Is that where you're from? I'm not sure if what that comment is getting at, but I'm curious. You don't have to answer, it doesn't matter. I hear the world outside waking up. It's always fun to hear that. Everybody thinks they're so different. And everybody gets up at the same time, does the same routine every morning, hugs their family goodbye, gets on with their day. And they come home, do their little routines at night, fall asleep, and do the same thing every day. I listen to it all. I listen to them dream. All around me. I think that feeds my art as well. There's an expression that's, what's it called? Fake it till you make it? Well, if you believe hard enough about certain things, like hard enough. I don't know how else to say it. But if you really truly do, and you learn how to like kind of harness that, it becomes a power that you can harness anyways. That's what I'm trying to say. There's some kind of confidence to it, but I prefer kindness, you know, and confidence in the same, working together in a sense, you know, because you can really make a difference in small ways with people. It doesn't take much to show people that they're seen and heard and that they matter, you know? It's important to remind people that they do. There was this old woman that came into the pet shop yesterday. She was so grateful that I gave her a freaking $2 discount. She almost was crying. Now I'm fucking crying. She was just so sweet. But she was like trying to tell me that the owners give her a discount, and they're trying to explain it to me, and had this worried look on her face like I wouldn't do it for her or something, and of course I did. Her whole demeanor changed. She became like super happy, and she walked out of that store laughing because we were just talking and laughing and stuff. And I don't know, I'm sorry. It's just stupid little things like that can just make somebody's day. And it wasn't much, it was just $2. But it made her very happy. I think little things like that could change the world, you know? It spreads like wildfire. Or it can at least change your environment, your community, and it changes you. And once it changes you, then there's no going back. You don't look at the world the same anymore. It's not about you, it's about us. All of us. Not some of us, not this group, that group, all of us. There is a heart to humanity, and we're all a part of it, whether we like it or not. Some of us try to escape, but we always are pulled back in, you know? And that's because it's hard to escape fate when you are everybody. Or you have the ability to be everybody, you know? Because it is true. We're all in it together. And it is the planet, our mother, God, you know, life. Coffee. Compassion. Maybe a little. Some bad jokes thrown in there for good measure, you know. Either way, there's a lot of work to do. And we can't do it alone, you know. Oh man, I can't stop thinking about that woman now. It's cool with Sharpie because you can go back and go over it and it looks darker than before. Because sometimes when you do one layer, like over here for example, you probably can't tell too much, but it looks really gray compared to like darker areas in here maybe. But I can go back over it. I'm not going to do it all right now, but... And it just looks nice and dark again. And you can just darken certain areas with it, because then if you leave certain parts gray, when you step back and look at it, it does make it, it gives it kind of like a... There's more depth, and the grays become as if the light, you know, was reflecting on it, and the grays become closer to the surface, and the darks obviously are lower. So it gives it a three-dimensional look. That's why people, I think, assume that I carve these or whatever, you know? Etch them. A lot of people think they're etched. And a lot of people are really surprised when I tell them that they're Sharpies. They're like, do you have one with you right now? And I'm like, yeah, I've got a whole handful of Sharpies in my pocket. Yeah. You want to see? They come in box form. Yeah. They come in a box. There's 12 to a box. Unfortunately, you don't get the 13th for free, though. I think you should. It's only fair. I'm looking at it through the eyes of the camera now. I want to bring it down here. There's like so much space down here. I'm going to slowly work my way down here. Maybe that's like the collarbone or whatever. I've never broken a bone. Well, that's not true. I think I've broken a toe bone. Or I call them a tone. Little tones. Toe bone, it's just easier to say. That way you don't have to say toe bone. That sounds like almost a little bit redundant. Now tone. Yeah, I broke my tone. You know, that's what I'm. It sounds like something you say down on 13th Street. You know, I broke my tone, y'all. What the f, man? You know, shit. Broke my tone. I don't even know what the fuck that means. Then on 13th Street, where they serve espresso and wine until very late. I live in the most posh, like, fucking town in America, probably. Oh my god. Yep, my stomach's like, yep, you sure do. Somebody out there is like, I can tell what that person ate last night. Just by the way their stomach grumbled. I've been trying to train my stomach not to want food. I'm trying to prep myself for Armageddon. But so far, I've only been prepping for about a week's vacation. Don't tell my wife. I sold all of our bullets, all of our guns, and I got a horse, and it's downstairs in the cellar right now, but it's eating up all the food. It's a big horse. Well, they eat a lot of food. They need a lot of stuff. And canned ravioli ain't gonna cut it. But if y'all want to come down sometime, that'd be fun. I don't get good Wi-Fi down there. That's why I don't really go down there. Go live from down there very much. But plus, it's very dangerous. It's a very small room with a very big horse. And he has 6 legs, so, 4 stomachs. 6 legs, as a horse does. Or doesn't. Depending on who you want to believe, who you're talking to. I say never talk to somebody who's going to contradict what you think is the truth. That's what I say. No friends, no way. No thanks. Holy moly, what happened to that music? Oh my goodness. Oh gosh. What in the world? What just happened? Holy guacamole. Well, I guess that's it, folks. I guess that's it. Oh, well, y'all have a wonderful day. Wait, what's that? What's that? Oh, come back. Oh, I'm getting word. Oh, here we go. I'm getting word from the managers upstairs that, no, we're good. Hey, Grandma?
Yeah.
Grandma?
Yeah.
Can you kick Grandpa in the guts and tell him to turn around and face the wall, please?
Oh, sure.
Thanks, Grandma. I love you.
Well, I know, dear.
I'm not a deer. I'm more of a doe, but... Jesus. Grandma. Los Santo, folks. My grandma was a little bit... she's a little bit out there. When I say out there, I mean she's literally out in the pasture. Grandma, get back here. Grandma. Grandma. Come on now. There you go. Just have a seat and just go back to sleep. Thank you. Are those cookies done?
Oh, almost.
Good. Everybody want some cookies? Anybody want some cookies? Grandma's cookies are the best. All right. Let's keep acting like we're drawing something here. Let's keep acting like I have an audience. There we go. We got worms going into the eyeballs, folks. There we go. And then we do a little I call this the little cut in the rug right here. I just do that, little cut in the rug. Boom. That way, from a distance, it actually looks like a little circle's coming out from under some kind of like brow ridge or something. I don't even know what the hell that is. But I must draw it. Like all my lovely little French girls. I must draw it. I've only seen that movie 3 times in my whole life, but I remember that scene like it was just yesterday. Just yesterday morning. It was. I watched it yesterday morning. Twice. Okay, here we go. I don't think art has any meaning, except that it means something to somebody somewhere that I'll never meet. And I think they're mean. So there it is, folks. I'm just gonna put a little line right there, and right here maybe a pimple. There, that little pimple right there. Little whitehead. I don't know why they call them whiteheads. They should call them Caucasianoid heads. It'd be a little bit more descriptive. White could be anything, you know. I mean, there's white blood cells, for crying out now. But let's give it a shadow nonetheless. Get a little shadow on that little whitehead. Shadow on the Whitehead. That sounds like a metal album or something. Shadow on the Whitehead. Shadow on the Whitehead. My neighbors are like, what the fuck is he doing? Sorry. They're out there like spitting milk out of their nose. What the hell is our neighbor doing? There's an expression out there, folks. It goes like this. It's hard to impress the casually dressed. Remember that. Remember that for the Dust theme for today. You can't poke a deer, oh my God, without knocking over a steer. And I just learned that the hard way just now. By having knowledge, I had myself one heck of a time the other night. And I was thinking about it while I was just blowing my nose. And I thought I would just tell you about that. That's all. That's all I got with that one. But I think I'm gonna go downtown later on with my guitar and stand on the corner and sing some countrified songs. Probably more western than country, but I think the folks just need to know that we're all together. And then everything's gonna be okay. You know what I mean? Ain't nothing new under the sun. If you're a hot dog on the run, if you know what I'm saying, though. But best to stay positive in the darkest of times. And be a light for those that are feeling icky. Instead of looking down at your feet thinking, oh, what happened? Look up at the sky and think, oh, the possibilities. How about that, you know? You gotta stay fresh. People are counting on you, you know? And it's true what they say in them movies. The power was with you all along. All you have to do is just start doing it. All you have to do is start. And I wish I would have learned that a long time ago. That you can't wait for life. Maybe a little bit of both. I'm definitely high. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I'm also just intense. Well, I'm actually in a garage, but plus I just like talking. I know that everybody has the same sort of worries that I do, same sort of concerns, just in different shades of color, different smells, different flavors, that's all. We're all the same. I appreciate your comment, though. Or, I appreciate your comment. High strung. I like that too because I play music, you know. So it's just kind of. I look for any things that play on words with just musical terminology. Low strung. I want to see somebody who's low strung. Man, I actually have friends that are like low strung. Like nothing phases them. It's so cool. I'm just too much of like an empath, and that works both ways. It means that when people are awful, you feel it too. Like when people are feeling awful, you feel it, and you absorb it, and you try to take it away. But then also, people are just awful, and then you can you get that feeling too, and it's the utmost worst, it's the most ickiest feeling in the world. And it's hard to shake. That's why when you're customer service, it's like you can work all day and people are awesome all freaking day, but then you have one person come in and give you a hard time, and that's the one thing you remember. But I say you as if everybody does this, but it's not true. I have low strung friends who have dealt with customers that are so freaking awful, right in their faces, but they're just like they don't even care at all. It's like not personal to them. But me being a customer and being able to put myself in this person's shoes and thinking about doing that to somebody I don't know or talking to somebody in a manner that people talk to people in customer service situations, I wanna, I go into like beast mode. I just want to go into beast mode. But you know, obviously you have to keep your job, so you can't do that. So you just internalize everything and you take it personal. And I am actually learning how to not do that. And that's why I was saying like things have been changing like crazy once I realized, oh yeah, I don't have to let people have my power or take my power or take my energy or taint my energy. Taint. And everybody has that choice. Everybody does. You don't have to let people take your shit. If you give it to them, take it back. If you give something to somebody and they're like, they don't give a fuck, take it back. There's a term for that. It's called Caucasian giver. I come from a long line of Caucasian givers. Actually, my family's Irish and Scottish. But they were here for like 100 years or so. But they certainly weren't liked by all the other whiteys. But apparently, like, I realized a few years ago in 2019 that a lot of, I've said this before recently, but I mean, my dad's a cop, or he was a cop. My uncle was a cop. They're all cowboys and stuff. And I have like, there's a place in California called McLeod. And it sounds so Highlander, it's so cool. But that's where a lot of my family's from too, like when they immigrated here from Ireland and stuff. And they're all sheriffs. So I just come from like a long line of like gnarly old sheriff guys. It's kind of crazy. German, Welsh, and Irish. Yeah, I'm the same way. It's like I'm the whitest. Isn't there like a, what do you call it? Like a television show, like The Whitest Kids or something like that? The whitest kids on the block. Well, the new kids on the block. The newest white kids on the block. It's kind of funny because I was raised by a Latino, man too. My stepdad's white. My stepdad, my real dad is white. My stepdad is Latino, Mexican, and like, I would say, "Hey, Charlie, are you Latino?" He'd be like, "I'm Mexican, you fuck." But so I'll call him Mexican. But he was a little bit more different. He was a little different than my dad. And plus, I have this huge, awesome Mexican step family, like massive, and I love them all. They're so cool. So I was lucky to have that kind of influence growing up. I grew up in like rural California too, so the schools I went to, like a lot of the kids were brown skins and stuff, brown skins. I didn't mean to say it like that. They were like, Hispanic or whatever. And I didn't ever even like, at that age, you're just like, you don't even see fucking color at all. It doesn't even matter. But then I went to Davis. That was even more, because it was closer to San Francisco. Davis, where UC Davis is. And I went there in the third. No, so I started that freaking school here. I think the very last day of school in the second grade. We moved. Yeah, we moved from Calusa up to Davis, or down to Davis, when I was still in the second grade, and I finished out maybe like the last 2 weeks of my school year in Davis, if not like just the last week or something like that, or a few days or something. Maybe my mom could remember that. But that was when like I started drawing. Like I started realizing how much I liked drawing when I was in the second and third grade. And in Davis, the school was pretty progressive school. And so this teacher came to my freaking house and talked to my mom about how much I drew and how I needed to like kind of stop because it was like super distracting me. I got like banned from drawing in Bible classes because I drew like this kind of stuff. I drew demons, and that's because I just drew what I saw in movies and stuff. It wasn't like I was trying to be evil or something, and I'm still not. This is stuff I see in my dreams. It's fucking evil, pure evil. But yeah, and I'm gonna dig out my old report cards too because they were like these little progress reports from like second and third grade and stuff, and it was just like Sean can't sit still. He talks to everybody, and he draws like the Dickens. Like he's super creative, but he cannot sit still, and he can't learn anything. And certain things I was into and stuff, but like math and things, it was really embarrassing because I was like I could not figure it out. But I was sort of like in a way like dyslexic or something. Very, very what do you call it? Attention span lacking, attention deficit. But then I moved up north to be with my dad right after that, and nobody up there even knew what that shit was called, and so I went undiagnosed for many years because I just did. So I just learned how to be like this. So that's why it seems like I'm high strung, I guess, because I am. But I'm also low strung, and I'm also high, and I'm also howdy doody, and I'm also hello. So I'm all these things, you know. Why not? I say be whoever you want to be, you know. Even if it means sucking hard at it. Oh, ow. Damn it. Sorry, Grandma. I didn't mean to do that.
It's okay. I love you.
Yeah, I love you too. Sorry, folks. That was absolutely intentional. Passerby, I was wondering when you were gonna clock in. It's what is it, a quarter after? Almost quarter after, and I don't know, we're gonna come to. Hey, Jim. And Passerby talking in the office just for a little bit. Come on. Yeah, a breakout room, right? Thanks, Jim. Pastor, you're gonna be tossed into a breakout room with Jim, and we're gonna get things going for you. We're gonna make sure that your head's on straight. I didn't make you blue for no reason. If you're not here at the right time, wait a second. What channel is this? Oh, this is the store. Jim, cancel that last order. Passerby, I deeply apologize. Cross contamination in the warehouse here. I'm being told in my ear that everything is green and we are good to go. Fair enough. Let's start over. Hey everybody, how's it going? My name's Story. Hey Passerby, how's it going? My name's Story Grub. Hi, bye Hannah. Have a good day at work. I'll miss you when you're dead. I mean, what? No, I mean, well, I will, but, huh? I didn't mean that to sound so dark. I actually didn't even mean to say dark like that. I was trying to say dark. I was just trying to say dark. But instead I said dork. Because that's what I am. It was lovely to meet you. And you're already gone, I'm sure. I just like that name. I like the name Hannah. Always have. Always will. I keep seeing it every time the light goes across it. I see like a little thing. It's like coffee or something right there, or spittle or something, or oh, ew. Let's ignore that and go over here. Yeah, where it's safe. I'm actually standing up while I'm drawing this because I don't know what I'm doing with my life. All right, let's get some shit done. But who does, really? It's crazy how many people out there act like they do. I hope you're doing well, passerby. Nice to see you. I'm just sort of wondering what to do with these fingers, because I know there's 2 more I want to add, because I always do the 6-finger thing. 5 in the drink and 1 in the brink, or whatever they say. Anyways, but I want it to look like it's holding up this brow, but I didn't do it right. So I guess I'll just add the hands in there like they're being held up like that. It's almost like a religious sort of pose. Like this anyways, you know, when it's up like that. Like you would see it in like Egyptian art and things like that too. They exaggerated the fingers too, because every pose and everything that they did was like important, so they had to accentuate things and caricaturize things to get the point across, and that's what symbolism and symbology or whatever. I guess symbology is the study of symbolism. but I say that a lot, I'm sorry. Symbols are important and they mean stuff, you know? That's why words have meaning, because they're just symbols that are broken down into language. And I mean, words have meaning. Obviously they have meaning. I meant that they have power. Words have power. Words have meaning, folks. Oh shit, my phone gonna die? Whoa, my phone almost just died. There we go. Whoa, that's a lot nicer, brighter, huh? There we go. Let's look at it upside down. There's a little penis nose in here somewhere. Like right here. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. Little penis nose. The pen, you see? What? The pen! The pen is mightier than the sword! Do you remember Marcus? Now I'm like realizing that they probably named his character after Marcus Aurelius. Marcus Aurelius was a great man. Oh yeah, and that was a scene, I'm sorry. That was that scene from Raiders of the Lost Ark, when they're in the tank. When he squirts the ink in the Nazi's eye. I can't believe how many people, like... I got unfriended yesterday for unfriended by like one of my like really good friends from Idaho for even like suggesting that the Democrats are like awful people. And like, basically I was just saying like, what was I even saying? Just to not be afraid, like, and she started saying shit like, well, you just don't be surprised when they target you for wearing a dress and all this stuff. And I'm like, who is we? Who's them? Like, what are you talking about? And then she was talking about like Russian propaganda and stuff, and I'm like, girl, oh my god, like you are. Even if there always is Russian propaganda. There was in every fucking election before, and there's gonna be in the next elections. There's Chinese propaganda. There's Uganda propaganda that floods into. I mean, it's not like the Russians are the only people that do that. It's just. And I told her, I think she got pissed because I said, this is coming from somebody who told me. I told her this too. I was like, this is coming from somebody that told me that they only get their news from Seth Meyer, like Late Night with Seth Meyer or whatever. At one point, like this was like 6 years ago or something. But I'm sure she looks at other stuff now, but it just sounds like she just parrots the mainstream media, because the Democrats don't ever want to admit what they did wrong. They don't want to admit the wrong stuff, so they just say the country's racist, the country's sexist. They're not ready for a woman president. They would be if you actually put up somebody that the people actually trusted. I'm not talking specifics. I'm just saying you have to give people an actual choice. So somebody to vote for, and not something to vote against. Like, But then you get into all these stupid conversations about like, well, but the Republicans do this, and like the Republicans, well, the Democrats do this, and it's like, yeah, but look at who's profiting off your guys' stupid arguments. It's just like fucking childish. And it's all this pearl clutching. It's like people, because my friend was like, she was saying, well, worried about all these trans kids, and I'm like, you don't think that I am not worried about that either? Like, just because I'm not glorifying the people that you think help people, you think that I'm against kids? You know what I mean? You think I'm out to hurt children or something because I don't agree with you in this particular political area? Where I look at the big picture, I look at the whole world, not just my fucking like state or my country. And I think that if the whole world did that, it would be a much better place if people were more worldly. But people in America don't know shit about the world. I learned a lot about people from about the world here on YouTube from friends and stuff. And maybe I'm just open to it too. But I've always been like that. I've always wanted to travel. I never have. But I sure as hell went to Australia watching Crocodile Dundee. I went to space watching Star Wars. I went under the ocean watching Little Mermaid. You know, that kind of stuff. All that cool shit. Indiana Jones, like all that, you know, you don't have to like travel the world to be a worldly person. Even music. I love world music, like Peter Gabriel. It's not just world music, I mean, but like he does a lot of world music as well, but he works with a lot of world musicians. I hate saying world music, it sounds stupid. But it's just music that resonates from the people of the earth, the people, you know? I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be on the soapbox. But yeah, for somebody to unfriend me or whatever because I'm telling people to be kind instead of being in fear is just ridiculous. Like people can't handle it when you're not afraid. Like they just don't understand. Especially now that I'm dressing a certain way. She just can't come out and say, well, you're a straight looking white guy. You can just blend in like all these other, because I'm not anymore. So I knew she would have said that if I was, but she can't. So she went the other route and said, well, when you get targeted for wearing a dress, and I'm like, have you ever been assaulted? I've been assaulted by a group of dudes. And she knows this too. I know what it's like to be assaulted. I lost my fucking tooth. I almost lost my other three front teeth as well. I started carrying knives with me everywhere. It's like she knew all this. She was like my best friend at one point. And she like is like preaching on my page. Like it's like she's not even talking to me either. She's talking over me to the people who might read her comments so she can get these likes and shit. I'm just like, it's not even you talking. You just sound like an MSNBC talking point, like a parrot or something. It's just the weirdest stuff. She doesn't even probably know like the real reasons why we were in Syria, or how many bombs were dropped in Syria in 2015. We ran out of bombs. America, we ran out of bombs. We dropped so many bombs on Syria, we ran fucking out of bombs. America dropped bombs. And we fund terrorists all over the world. Like, both sides of the coin do that. Both parties do that. Like, she can't handle somebody criticizing the Democrats, and that's just crazy to me. Literally, it's insanity. And it makes me feel really, really bad for her. Because once you realize they're all out to get you, and your friends, your allies are your neighbors, even if they fucking hate you, they're your allies. They just don't know it. But I just don't feel like that anyways. I don't feel like everybody's out to get me. And if they ever are, then they're going to be barking up their own tree. I'll tell you that much. It's true. I bombed that. That's the whole reason I bombed France the other night. Great espresso. The crepes are... Mwah. Un, deux, trois. Kure. Somewhere nuts watching Story Girl. I'm excited. I'm just excited because today's like, oh my gosh, I have the day off and I'm gonna go see the ocean, but I'm gonna go drop off some stuff to this like record store. Oh my gosh. I met this cool ass dude. I think Pastor, I don't know if you were hearing me, but I just really quick, I met this cool dude at this like art um where I was selling my art the other day at this like event. Gosh, it was called Ghostopia. And it was at an old mortuary and stuff. It was so rad. And it was on Saturday and all this, and I had a booth next to this guy, and he was selling records, and I was selling my art. And we immediately hit it off. You know, it was kind of weird at first. I think he didn't know what to expect from me, but I was like, "Hey, how's it going?" He was like, "Oh," he's like, "Oh, you're kind," you know, kind of. And I was just like, "Hey," and he's like, "Oh, hey, hey." And so we just started talking and shit, and we just like hit it off. And he owns a record store, and he has his own like record label for like weird punk rock bands, and like they have like he's been in movies and made movies and stuff, and been in bands and toured and all sorts of shit. He's really cool. His name's Patrick. Yeah, okay. And then so, anyways, I'm gonna go down to his record shop today and meet him, and so that means obviously going to the ocean because I think he said it's so cool because he was like echoing every kind of like sentiment that I have about this area and how much it means to him because he's from Bakersfield, which is 70 miles inland from here, I guess. So, you know, kind of landlocked, but you know, anyways, he was from there for years and had his label out there and had the record store and moved out here in 2020 after visiting a few times and realizing he just wanted to be here like all the time. So they did. They moved out here and I was lucky enough to like have a booth right next to him. So anyways, yeah, going out to his record store today, and he said that I could sell my little set. I have like, God, I still have like 100 little records, like 7 inches from my band back in Idaho, from our split that we did with another band. God, I'm fucking cold. Oh, that's not plugged in. Anyways, I'm good. So yeah, and I'm gonna take some shirts down there and see if I can sell some stuff in his shop and see the shop and just which. But he was telling me too. He lives like right next to, or the shop is right next to the ocean. So you know, he just gets off work early or shuts the store down early a little bit and just goes to the ocean and hangs out, which is, I mean, it's expensive over there. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, my ultimate goal is to be doing this in a sunroom near the ocean at least, or something, because the ocean for me is paradise. You know, it's like God, and that's where I find a lot of my peace. That's where my brain can quiet down a bit. So I'm looking forward to seeing the ocean today and meeting up with Patrick, and who knows what else is going to be happening today. Yeah, and especially somebody who's on the same wavelength, like with cannabis, for example. Like he just started partaking in it recently, and he's my age. He's like 40. Well, I'm 45. He's 42 or 43 or something. But he never did it before in his life. He's like never. He never even like did any drugs really, except for like a drink every once in a while. And then recently, you know, somebody suggested for sleeping to do it, but then he was telling me that because I opened up to him about my drug use and what kind of things I've done and stuff. And just looking at my art, I was like, "Yep, this one was cannabis. This one's speed. I started this on mushrooms." You know, because I go deep in my brain, but it's not just about doing drugs for me. It's like about doing them and sitting down and exploring my soul. So, anyways, um, yeah, he we were talking about that, and I was very open with him about that all, and he was like, well, then I'll tell you that you know I just started, and because of this, because I couldn't sleep, somebody was like, you should just smoke before you go to sleep. It'll help you sleep. And or no, he was doing edibles first, and then for some reason he stopped. I can't remember why, but then he got a vape or something, and that's what changed everything. Sort of, he's just started getting all these ideas. He would like lay down in bed, but he couldn't sleep. He would just have all these ideas. So he would get ideas for songs, for art, for like his shop, for displays, all this stuff. And it was cool listening to it because that's what happens with me. Like when if I come out here and, for example, like I'm chilling, waiting for the coffee to brew, I'm just kind of like sitting down, just like vegging out, like sort of still waking up. And then once the coffee's closed or whatever, getting ready to start going live, I'll go out and, take a few puffs, and it just activates the inner child in me, and like to where I don't know. I don't obviously need it, but it's like a tool that I use to it helps tap into like a shaman would. I know it sounds cheesy or maybe even like a cop out or an excuse, but I kind of approach my mind like that. Because for me, art it's about healing. And it's also about showing people that they're important. Because really, I mean, what is art? It's especially if you're the kind of artist that wants to share it with people. What is it? It's something. It's part of you sharing it with people. But ultimately, what it boils down to is people looking at the art, and whoever's looking at it will get a different impression from it. And that's why sometimes I'll have some art, something I've been working on for a few minutes or whatever, and I'm like, nah, this is garbage, and I go to throw it away, and somebody's like, whoa, 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 no, what? How much do you want for that? And I'm like, I'm just gonna throw it away, or just never finish it. I have tons of things that never finish because I just didn't like the direction they were going. But then somebody walks up to it and they're like, "Oh my god, what the hell? Like, what is that?" And I'm like, "What?" And they just love it. So I think that's just the power of art too. I like saying art a lot. If you didn't notice, art, art and stuff. Absolutely, yeah. It's also de-expression. If you think about it a little bit deeper, it can be put in as well, but only if you have the right tools. And so you need the right tools. You need the right tools, like this right here. It's a crayon. It's a crayon that you can extend like a little doggy wiener. Unfortunately, that's the only way I could describe it. And as the accent absolutely changes 100%, look at the back. Huh, silver. That way, if there's zombies or vampires or werewolves or lichens, or wait, I already said werewolves. Lichens are basically the same thing. But goats, goat milk, you know the drill. Art is expression, folks. Thank you, Pastor. You may sit down. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I just got I don't know what the hell that smell was. I think it's the crayon smell. It is. This is the crayon smell. It reminds me of the 5th grade. Like I went to this school called Capet. That was where I was one of 8 of the 5th graders. There's only 8 of us. The school was so small you couldn't even find it on a map. Unless you were really looking. So this guy came in and cut pieces of styrofoam in the garage yesterday while I was at work. And he was insulating the small garage door with these things, which I was totally stoked about. But when I came home from work last night, I drove my car into a snow globe. The guy thought it was cool to just cut pieces of styrofoam into billions and billions and billions of little minuscule particles, to where I walk into my garage, or I get out of my car, I look around, and my aunt's car was covered in styrofoam, little bits of it, and it was just floating in the fucking air and everything. And I was so fucking pissed because the first thing I noticed was the leaves. Like it was obvious he had the door open, and all these leaves from outside came in, and then he just like left the place with all these leaves inside of our garage. And it's not like a regular garage. I have carpets in here. I have lamps. I have tables. I have art. I have clothes out here. and he got like styrofoam all over the fucking place. And I had pulled stuff away for him to work, but he chose to cut the styrofoam inside the garage. Inside the garage. And so last night for 2 hours, that's why I didn't go live last night actually, because for 2 hours I was out here just like vacuuming up. I mean, it was literally a snow globe. It was just a snow globe out here. And I swear to God, man, he had left that place thinking that he like pulled one over on my aunt, and I just want to punch the fucking guy in the face. I am not a violent person, but you fuck with my aunt. Hmm. And I was just like, if anything, it was just the most unprofessional. I don't even know how to explain it without getting irate. Plus, I just can't believe he took her money. That really, really bothers me. And that like I had to spend 2.5 hours last night cleaning that stuff up, and I let my cat out before I even knew that it was like all over the place because my cat was inside all day, but then it was all over the ground. So my cat is like running around, kicking it up and breathing it because it's like low to the ground. All of the stuff, it was all over everything, like caked over everything. So I don't know how he left and didn't see it, but like it's so I'm seeing it like even on my art right now, like it's just even over on this side of the room, and I was just I think that was the maddest I've been in a long time, or at least in a few days. And it was really just because he was negligent, and I feel like he took advantage of my aunt. So, anyways, that's a shitty story. God, it sucks. I did get a lot of it up though, but it's just still I can just sort of see it floating in the air. But it'll take a while for it all to go away. That's for sure. I just can't believe like he would do that inside the garage and then not clean it up. Like he would make this absolutely horrible mess over all of our things and just not clean it up. Like not even try. Not He had to have been wearing a respirator or something. Otherwise, he would have had shit going in his nose and his eyes. I don't know how he was. It is funny now to think about, but I mean, holy crap. I like the way this one's turning out. But later on, when I get back home after our little adventure, I want to start. There's a friend of mine I need to start this darn commission for, and I'll show you. Actually, I think it's my back. Oh, my backpack's inside. I'll show y'all later. But I drew like the South Park Mexican band or the mariachi band or whatever. Like just a rough sketch of it yesterday while I had some time at work because I was working on just like the layout of the commission that I'm going to do for my friend. And I think it's a commission for like a young person that she's going to give it to as a gift. But there's like Santa, what is it? The Saint of Death, like in Catholicism, Mexican culture, like Santa Muerte, and then like the Mexican mariachi band from South Park, and so Santa Muerte is gonna be um, like behind them, sort of like praying, and the band's gonna be playing music in front of it. Like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be really cool. But I need to sketch it out in pencil actually, and that way I can just draw it like pretty quickly, at least the outlines and stuff like that, and show y'all. I want to try to do it live, but it's so hard to draw out here sometimes. It's just very inhospitable. I don't know like how to change that really to make it, because it is just at the end of the day a garage, and things just get messy and dusty and dirty out here, and it gets very cold. And first world problems, I guess. Not trying to sound like not trying to complain. I just want the videos to be good, and I want people to come here and be like, oh yeah, I could watch this, instead of like, God, that lighting sucks, or or like, oh, it's blurry. Get closer, you fuck. Like, it's hard enough just like keeping it still the way it is right now. It's like literally attached to a paint bucket with a jug of water in it to hold it down. Like, it's so freaking, yeah. But I do it for the ratings and the humor. Well, I would draw it out. I would just sketch it out first in pencil, and then I would just start inking it, basically. But yeah, I like pencil too, actually, and I got good for a while, like during the summer and stuff. I was using colored pencils a lot and whatnot, but then I always kind of fall back into this. I go crazy on other things for a while, but then I always fall back into this style because it's just it's mine. I've seen other things like this, but it's really, nothing comes close. And I don't mean that in a cocky way. I mean it in a penisy sort of way. That's all. Nobody whoop. We all, everybody. Oh, we all, we all, everybody. Oh, I don't know why I'm singing that song. Haven't sung that song in years. Not since the plane crash. Yeah, this one's actually coming together. Coming together. Yeah, it is. And that's funny you should say that, because last night I was actually drawing it because there's really not much to do at work. So there were periods where I was just standing there working on this drawing, and it was like a little doodle. And this lady, I forgot it was even on the counter, and she came up and like with her two boys, and she put some stuff on the counter, and I was like, put my pen down really quick. And she was like, she was like really loud about it too. She was like, "Are you drawing that?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, yeah, I'm just doodling or something like that." And she's like, and she laughed so loud. She was like, "Wow, my God, that's a doodle." And because, it's like this, and I'm like, well, yeah, it's the way I doodle. And she was like, "Boys, isn't that cool?" And she was like, "I'm a preschool teacher, and I think that's just really, I've seen doodles. I see doodles every day," or something. And I'm like, "Oh, you like dogs?" And she's like, "No, no, 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 no." And I said, "Ma'am, are you okay?" And she's like, "Oh, yeah, 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 I'm fine. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Doodles as in kids doodling." And I said, "Oh, not the dogs. Word. Okay, yeah." Because I work in a pet shop, so everything at the end of the day sounds like a doggy product, even the cat food. So, I just thought that was really funny, because the boys were like probably like one was probably like 7, and the other was probably like around 11 or 12, and it looked like just like me and my brother, like when we were like kids, and I was the young one, and the little one was all like excited and bouncing off the walls, and the other one was all stoic and stuff and acting all cool. But she was like, "Boys, isn't that cool?" And the little one's like, "Yeah." And the other one's like, "Yeah, it's okay." It's like, it's just cool. But I wanted to be like, "Yeah, I've been drawing since I was his age," or that was when I actually remember people, because even in kindergarten I was drawing and stuff, but everybody drew, all the kids drew. Or if I was drawing, they would all come over and draw with me. So like everybody was drawing. But after a while, all the kids stopped drawing, and I kept drawing, and that's how it was ever since I was born. And then in my family too, art was a thing, and people drew all the time. But then they stopped as well, and I just never stopped. My niece, drew for a long time, but then she forgot that she had that gift or that power or something. She doesn't draw as much as I. But she blocked me for no reason a while ago, so I have no idea what she's doing now. She's pregnant, but I don't even know what she looks like right now, so. Because she blocked me for no reason. Well, for some reason that I don't know. So, anyways, I gotta go. Ow. Yeah. Oh. I gotta get ready for the day. I felt so bad because my aunt is just like so freaking sweet. She's just so mild tempered, and so when I showed her this place last night, I was so irate because I just feel like she was taken advantage of, and I think if I wasn't here, who the fuck was gonna clean up all that stuff? Was she gonna do it? Like that motherfucker left like such a fucking mess, and like my aunt shouldn't even be out here breathing that stuff. Let alone she was trying to help me last night. Sorry, I burped. She was coming out here trying to help me, and I'm like, no, 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 go inside. This stuff is everywhere. I like put on a mask so I could clean it. It was like in the air. When I say snow globe, I'm not like joking. The more I was cleaning, the more I was bothered because I'm just like, dude, this guy fucking left this place like this. Like, and then he didn't even like take the styrofoam that he cut with him. He just put it in a black bag back by our garbage cans. And usually guys like that take their shit to the dump or something. But what is she supposed to do with that big ass black bag? Like break it down herself and put it in her garbage? Like he didn't even do that. And our garbage is empty. He could have at least done that, but he just left a big bag out there. It's like insane to me. And she probably paid him really well. And I kind of like feel like I'm the kind of person I was taught that if you're gonna do a job, you don't leave it half-assed. You sweep your shit up. You make it look better than it did before. That's all. That's all I'm looking for. It's like, that kind of respect from somebody who, oh my god, man. I just wanted to punch something last night. I was so fucking angry. But I'll go meditate at the ocean instead and learn how to chill the hell out. Because holy moly, people can be awful, and it's just better to expect it than be surprised, right? Exactly, man. That's what I'm saying. I was raised by, I like that tradies. I was raised by them. I was raised by people that did that kind of work, and they always told me anytime we did anything, it would be like mowing a lawn and not cleaning up the grass clippings. You know what I mean? If you were a whatever oh gosh, I want to say lawnmower man, but like a landscaper. They call them landscapers here. I don't know what they call them down south, on the other side of the world, in Australia. But yeah, landscapers, that'd be like them not cleaning up, their lawn clippings or cleaning up the leaves or something like. I mean, it's just, and it was in her garage, and which is my garage too now. All of my clothes, I have tons of clothes out here, and they're covered in microscopic little pieces of styrofoam. Sorry, I'm not trying to make it a big deal. I'm like out here right now looking at the shit floating in the air, so it's just like fresh on my mind. But I'll get over it. It's just I feel like he needs my aunt deserves an apology from this joker. That's all. That's all. That's what bothers me the most is that he disrespected her. You know? So, anywho, oh yeah, this is the place I'm going to today. Grover Beach, California, and Phantom Stranger Records. Hella cool dude. His name's Patrick, and he's in like all these hardcore bands and stuff. And he's been on the road, and he's met all sorts of cool ass people, and done all sorts of cool ass things, and totally unassuming guy. Like I had no idea when I saw him, like it was just gonna be that cool. Like, but because at first he was very standoffish and didn't seem like he wanted to even talk to me. But then, but then as soon as I don't even know what thing I said that like it was like a light clicked in him, and he's like, oh wait, this person's kind. Because I was just saying hi to everybody there. I was like, hi, 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 and nobody was saying hi to me. All these vendors are like just busy, like getting their things ready and like not even looking up and just like frantic. I'm just like, hi, because I'm just trying to make friends too. But then eventually a lot of people came and said hi to me and stuff, so it was neat. But I get it. I'm weird and I'm weird sometimes in public, so you just got to get ready and then you can relax. So, But you know, when I'm walking by people, like over and over, I'm gonna say something like just to break the ice. One of those things where you just don't let other people change you, you know, or don't assume other people are angry just if they don't say hi back right away. Sometimes people just are in their little world and they're in a little zone. And I'm learning how to just try not to take that stuff personally. There's this. Oh, this is the last thing I'll say, and then I'll go. But like it's like the scene in Kill Bill. When I've said this before, but like when he's telling this kill, or I'm sorry, Bill is telling the Killian Billion is telling uh Beatrix about like the warrior who was on the road, and like the monk passed by or something. He like gave the monk a nod, like the slightest of nods, and it wasn't returned, you know. And he went and just destroyed the entire this guy's entire village and shit because of that, like disrespect. And there's a part of me that is sort of like that, where it's like, oh, you're gonna like disrespect me like that, like wow, then you're gone. But obviously, you know, I'm not like that anymore. But there's that part is still in there somewhere, and it's annoying because I've realized that I'm able to like look at people now and look at myself in them and see myself in them and be like, no, remember the other day when somebody said hi to you and you didn't, you know what I mean? I could just kind of like, I just, it's about just living like that. I don't know. Livin. Living in. That Livin. Living in. Okay, everybody. Love you. Y'all take care. You never watched Kill Bill? Do you not? Holy moly. Okay, this is a conversation we need to have. Are you not into Quentin Tarantino movies, or you're just not intrigued by it? You're not interested in it? I'm not going anywhere until you answer that. I saw that movie a few different times in the theater. Yeah, you know of it. Are you just not into those types of movies? Just out of curiosity. Is that why you've never seen it, or just like if it was on and you would watch it, or just you're like, yeah, I don't really care. Because I would. I mean, if you're into, I mean, as far as the movies go, the first one, anyways, the first part. If you've watched Tarantino and you like Tarantino, it has all of the right things, all of the right ingredients for a great Tarantino flick. Yeah, I mean, it's like obviously they're all connected. You know, he connects them all to a degree, but like it's obviously years later than Pulp Fiction, so it's more cinematic in a way. And I don't know how. It's just more advanced as far as man, the soundtrack, dude, everything about it. I highly recommend watching the first Kill Bill, and then you'll want to watch the second one. Believe me, but like, yeah, it's quite remarkable. It's quite remarkable. If you like film, you know, I love film. I love good film and good stories, and like, it's one of the best in my opinion. So, oh yeah, totally. Oh, that's the thing with a lot of his movies. There's a few other movies. It took me a long time to see The Hateful Eight. I finally watched it, and it was cool, but it was just like kind of drawn out, you know, very drawn out, but pretty cool. Um, but then, I mean, obviously well written, so it's like easy to watch, even if it's long, which is great. And then I never have seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I've been told that I should because it's like really good. So I'm in the same boat with you with that one. It's like, yeah, well, if it's on, I'll watch it, but I don't know what it is about DiCaprio and Brad Pitt or something. I'm not really excited to see it because of them, but like I will eventually someday. But also, I just don't watch movies as much as I used to. So I don't know. Oh, dude, yeah, man. Oh man, From Dusk Till Dawn, so freaking good. Robert Rodriguez directed that one, and Quentin Tarantino wrote it. But I think he also produced it or something like that too. But I think it was produced by bands of what is it? What is his production company? Um, Band Apart. But yeah, I used to know. I used to know a lot about that kind of stuff in that world. I used to want to make movies when I was a kid, you know. So it is kind of fun. I used to write scripts and everything, and it is funny because lately I've been wanting to do it again after all these years. Everything just comes full circle, and you just always come back to who you always were. And for me, I've been opening up my heart to it so much that it's like I'm going back to the person that I was trying to be as a youngster before life got in the way of all of my dreams and stuff, you know. Not that I didn't stop dreaming, it's just that I feel like now I'm closer than ever to like finding my real purpose, because I don't think I've found it yet. Maybe I never will, but you know, I can't stop looking, you know. They're on the way, making friends, trying to stay positive and keep my head above the water. And I'm gonna go to this place in a few hours. I mean, this is the most positive I've ever felt in my life, as far as just like, and it's not a matter of feeling like, it's hard to explain what I mean by that. It's almost like trying to explain the idea of like learning how to like love yourself. It's not what I thought it was. And being positive doesn't mean you're not sad, or you can't be hurt or anything like that. Or yeah, stay positive, bro. Like people say, oh, just don't feel that way, dude. You know what I mean? But because I do have friends that have told me that, like, have you just tried not being depressed? And you know, to be honest, I think depression is weird like that, because I think people get addicted to it, the feeling of it. I think a lot of people feel guilty. They're made to feel guilty for feeling good. And so people wallow in depression and sadness because that's what is expected of us. In a way, I don't know how to explain that without sounding just in a general way, like society makes us, conditions you to be, well, robots essentially. And look at us now, we're all clones, or sorry, drones. With we're all cyborgs essentially, you know. We're one step away from just being robots. Maybe three. But yeah, I mean, everywhere we go, we have millions of answers to billions of questions in our back pockets, you know. It's just how it is. And then people are always like, oh man, I wouldn't get an implant, I wouldn't get an eye thing, a retina thing for my blah blah blah, so I could go. Sure, fucking shit, you would. People are going to be getting their eyeballs made of, like, you know, they're going to get they're literally going to be selling eyeballs, like, you know, lowercase eyeballs to people that they can, like, they're going to call them third eyes or something like that. And they're going to be putting them in people's eye sockets. And people are going to be lined up down the street to get those fucking things. I guarantee it when the time comes. People are saying now, like, oh, I wouldn't do that. Yeah, you would. Yeah, you will. Yeah, you all will. I've seen it before. We've all seen this fucking movie. Happy fucking Tuesday. It's just such a funny world. Yep, the news. I was just saying earlier that my friend, like, obviously watches the mainstream news. She's just parroting what they say. And I'm telling her I'm out here talking to people, and I'm meeting people, and she's saying I'm a target, right? But and I'm sure I am to certain people. Yeah, of course. I was a target to people before I started wearing skirts, you know? The same people, I'm sure too. So I'm a little more of a target now than I was before. Sure, cool, whatever. I don't care. I don't care. When that time comes, that's when I'll start caring. But until then, all I was telling her was that I'm not going to let fear rule over me, ever. And once you do that, you watch who stays and who goes. Because she left, she unfriended me, and it was literally, I was just literally saying, I'm not going to live in fear. So when you start saying shit like that, and watch who sticks around and who comes and goes, because because fear is a hell of a thing, and it's also a wonderful tool that you can keep in your back pocket instead of a stupid ass iPhone, and use to change the world. Because how often do people actually use their iPhones to change the world? Or how often, or is it just that they're waiting for the new iPhone just so they can look cool with it in their back pocket, walking down the street and not doing shit with it? We're cyborgs without a purpose. That's the scariest thing. Because once we find out, once they give us our objective. Then we just like you just said, we go at it once the news tells us what to do, then or who to hate or who to love. Then we just run like little chickens and with our heads cut off towards whatever direction they tell us to. We've seen it a million times. But then they'll call you crazy. And there's been books written about it. There's been studies. There's Harvard studies about this shit. There's been, I think it was the Harvard study that said we live in an oligarchy. It came out that we live in an oligarchy. And people still act like, voting for a president or just simply that a president has all the power in the world to like change everything. My friend just like, yeah, all these Nazis are going to come and sweep all the transgender people away. And I'm like, when, where, what, who, what are you talking about? You would never even know Trump won around the area that I live in. And I live in a very conservative area of California, like super conservative. There's a fucking Trump flag across the street. And again, I don't give a fuck. They're going to think whatever they're going to think regardless. All I can do is be a good person. All I can do is be a good person because I'm not going to let them rule over me. I'm not going to let that negativity scare me, intimidate me. They're not even mean to me. First of all, I see them outside and they're just nice to me. I don't understand. So once Nazis start kicking in my door, they're going to be met with a little brat with a baseball bat. But until then, or if I see that being done to somebody else, I'll step in. Fuck's sake. I mean, I'm sorry. I just think people are just so confused and they don't even know who the enemy is anymore. And they punch down so often they forgot who's in control and like what punching up is even like. Or they scream all cops are bastards and that we're so punk rock and we're so this and that for fucking ever. But then every 4 years they roll over and bend over for whatever politician they tells them is gonna save the day. And guess what? They never save the day, do they? They never save the day. Voting for on both sides, voting for lesser, it never works. Nothing ever gets better for anybody on the bottom, does it? Ever. But they still try to divide us and divide us and divide us and divide us. Until like, I literally will tell people, don't be afraid. And they're like, fuck you. That's what I'm getting from people that consider themselves to be on the left. It is so bizarre to me. Oh yeah, man. I'm way more let's say colorful now than I used to be. So I've always been used to it. I've always felt like I feel like I've talked about this before too, but like just the idea or my energy, the aura that you give off. People can read that too, and that's how I don't know how to explain it, but that's how I can just when I was in Portland, for example, I'd be walking around and just turn myself invisible, just by the way I walk, just by the way you carry yourself. I don't know. It's like one of those things where if you believe it hard enough, it's almost true. And I would just walk right through like the most craziest situations and just like I wasn't even there. And I feel like I can still do that just even if I'm dressed in a very eccentric, different way. And I don't understand how where people think being afraid and angry is going to get them. And closing themselves off from people who tell them something different than what they believe. Because essentially she was upset that I didn't agree with her about how bad the Republicans were compared to the Democrats after I had already told her that the Democrats enable the Republicans to do said horrible things and vice versa. Like they work together behind closed doors to fuck us all over. And she couldn't handle that. People can't handle that. They always want to say, well, but they're better than the others. But they look out for transgender kids. And I'm like, are you trying to say that I'm not thinking about that? Like that I don't think about that? Because that's insulting. Like you're making it seem like I've never even thought about any of this stuff. And that's what I don't understand too, is like you'll say one little thing and then people just act like your entire life is based on that one little comment. Like the John Lennon effect or something, like like we're bigger than Jesus thing, and everybody was just like, they totally took it out of context and assumed that he was just trying to, he was blaspheming and being on burning. They were burning his fucking records and stuff, and all he was saying was how ridiculous it was. How pop culture is, how kids worship the craziest people in the world, literally druggies and wife beaters and shit, just because they play music. It's insane. And he said John Lennon was a very interesting person. I don't know what he meant by what he said, but like that's what I gathered from it, and I think that's what was, sort of vaguely, agreed upon at the time. But he did apologize for it too, because it created quite a backlash in America. And it was on. Just makes me feel bad for my friend too, because what kind of world do you want to live in where everybody thinks the same, everybody looks the same, everybody acts the same, everybody smells the same? I mean, what the fuck? I just don't understand that. I want to live in a world where people disagree, and I want to learn from people that I disagree from or with and stuff. I want to eat different food. I want to smell different things. I want to hear different languages. You know, I don't think this is the best time to try to shut yourself off from anybody you disagree with, even just in the slightest of ways. That's not how the world is. And I actually probably bothered her too, because I said you need to get out of your bubble and go out and talk to people, because that's what I'm doing. And I said something like, I'm out here changing minds, not closing mine. I thought that was quite the line too, because like it's true. I'm outside doing stuff, and I'm meeting people in the public a lot more than I ever have now, and I'm even dressed in this way, and I've never gotten insulted or anything like that. And if anything, quite the opposite. It was me assuming that people are going to say horrible things to me outside or as they're walking by me, and they say nice things to me often. And I say thank you. And I keep walking and I run for the hill. No, you know. So I have issues with assuming things about people. It's not one sided, you know. If people are thinking something about me, who cares? Who cares? They were thinking about that before. They're gonna think about it later, even if I'm dressed like a dude. You know, who cares? And people sometimes just look at people. Doesn't mean anything. Most of the time when guys look at me when I'm out in public, I'm like, oh yeah, you're probably that dude from that website. Because a lot of conservative guys hit on me. A lot of conservative guys. And I feel bad for them, because I feel like they're locked into this like lifestyle, this world that they don't want to be a part of. But a lot of married men, a lot of conservative married men at that. And when I say a lot, I've never met anybody. It's just they can write you, and I get like sort of hounded by these dudes. But I don't think they would like me if they got to know me. But I don't think that's their intention, anyways. So I stay away from them. But yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna go on that weird ass note and get ready for the day. So thanks again for hanging out. I appreciate it. And I'm gonna make this one public. I've been making all my live streams public because I'm trying to get up to those hours that I need to start monetizing this stupid channel. I'm almost at 1,000 subscribers, so that's exciting. And sorry, I'm just talking and not drawing as usual. So yeah, have a good day, and I'll talk to you all soon. Thanks, Pastor. I really appreciate it. You take care now.